Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Monster Rancher Battle Card for Game Boy. I'm Henry, HVAC, whatever stupid intro shit. So I've done a little bit of research in the intervening days about this game, and about, we'll say some of its limitations. First off, we need to go and talk to the dude that we rescued. Let's get that out of the way.
Hi, thanks for helping back there. Here's your reward.
Shovel plus 30 will be mine.
Adventure item, a shovel. Wasn't there a room in the ruins that was full of dirt? Use this to dig in there. It's a bit old, I'm afraid. Oh, my brother wants to thank you too, so you should go to the studio.
Okay, I already went to the studio at the end of last episode and realized that I didn't have anything I could do there. So, how do I put this? I've done some thinking about the team and some editing. So first off, these are pretty much all the monsters. We have, like, whatever, 9 or 10, which is not that much. What does this do? I don't think I saw it. To do the damage, okay. Man, I'm getting distracted very easily. But in any case, that's not a lot of, oh god. I'm sorry. This episode is having a fucking shit start. In any case, I realize, yeah, there's not a whole lot of diversity, sadly, in the monsters that you can run, so, I mean, that's still, whatever, 9 times 8 times 7, which is like, whatever, 500 or so, something like that. 500 combinations, we'll say, 600 combinations. It's nice. I don't know, there are a few issues I have. One, Galley sucks, so I've had to cut down his shit as much as possible, because Holy Ray is basically useless, Blaze Wall is fine, Flame is fine, Tactics is useless, Reflect is useless, Lie Down is useless, just because they're way too expensive to ever be used. The second thing, we buffed up Tiger a little bit, just added a couple more attacks, and the same thing with Squeezo, just kind of filled out the attacks. What I'm saying is that there aren't a lot of monsters, and sadly some of them feel kinda the same. Like Dino, we saw that he has Punch, right? Which is like a very generic card. We see Fire Dash, which is also relatively generic, except for the fact that it's just like hyper efficient. Which you can argue that makes it not as generic. The fact is there's still just a lot of things that just like do damage at like the same rate. Like the Dino Kick that we saw, or the Dino Charge that we saw last time, which absolutely bodied me, right? It was like a 2 guts, 4 damage, if it actually hits the opponent, deal 1 to yourself. And this is literally exactly the same as Charge here. Probably because they're both named Charge, now that I think about it, right? But it's Gust 2 damage 4, you take a damage. And this is kind of the disadvantage of having a card game, or trying to play a card game in like its absolute infancy, is that there's a lot of vanilla stuff. And while I think it's actually quite nice, in some respects, like, I like it when, you know, it's not like this is a problem that happened, like, later on in Hearthstone, like, these days, or, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Towards the end of the GX era, especially. Like, towards the beginning of the GX, it was fine. I think they actually hit the perfect balance. But I like it when vanilla stuff has, like, a point, if that makes sense. Did I just take away something? Add an extra charge in. Alright, whatever. I'm not going to worry about that. But there are certain, like, ratios, I guess you'd say, of, like, different cards with each other, right? There are, like... Oh god, how do I phrase this? Yeah, okay, so, basically, I like it when vanilla stuff exists every now and then, because it makes the monsters with effects feel actually special and interesting, right? Like, I'm not saying that I want stuff like, Gene-Breeded Warwolf or whatever, which is just a giant vanilla dude in Yu-Gi-Oh! Who just is he's just a large man, and that's what he does. He just kind of punches the opponent. or whatever with his large stats. Like, I don't think that's necessarily as interesting, because, I don't know. Like, the ideal, like, vanilla stat minion I always think about is, like, maybe X-Head Cannon, or, like, something that I think is a fine example in like, the early Synchro era is, like, the Genix or Gen X, whatever you want to call it, the controller, who is just, like, a 1412. And, like, X-Head Cannon is like an 1800, 1400, something like that. Or, like, Robotic Knight, right? Where it's, like, the stat line, like, kind of makes sense. You know, because he's strong, because he has cannons and stuff, and so he's going to attack. Okay, actually, I'm going to stop myself, because we have a lot of shit to do if I ever want to get close to getting another hero. I have to go to the bottom of the fucking Frant ruins. So we got to the 3rd floor and back up, and that took 2 episodes, so I should just get started, and then I'll start talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Again and like card design and stuff. So what I liked about those was that they felt like fair, you know? Oh, whoops. Can't go downstairs. They felt fair in a way that was like they could compete with their effect monster counterparts even though they had no effects, and it wasn't just because they're absolutely massive, just because back then the effect monsters were a little bit weaker. Milk Stuff! What on earth is Milk Stuff? Oh my god. Event item. Monster's favorite. Give it to your monster. I don't have any monsters, I only have cards. Am I supposed to give it to my monster card? Right. In any case, I'm sorry I got distracted again by this game's absolute nonsense. So, I was talking about... let me just phase through this guy really quick. Upper. So, yeah, I kind of like it when there's like a competition. When like vanilla stuff matters. But this game, I think, is a bit... It's like so far in its infancy that like... Oh my god, how do I put this? That it's not like there's only vanilla stuff, and that's when I think it really breaks down. Like, I think it's great when you have some vanilla stuff and like the vanilla stuff is actually even like remotely useful, because then like there's a choice that you're making, right? You want an effect, but that effect comes at a trade-off. We are going so much faster than we did before. I have no idea how this is possible. Oh, it's you.
You want the treasure, is difficult to get it.
Alright, I'm gonna stop reading the lines, because it's the same fucking 3 lines over and over again. No, here's the issue I have, like... Bite. Right, here, let's just use these examples in front of me right now. Game start. Yeah, do it. What the fuck you need. Okay, so... Bite. That's just a vanilla attack. Scratch. That's just a vanilla attack. Back roll. That's basically a vanilla dodge, and like the dodge is interesting, whatever the hell you want to say, blah blah blah. But it's still just like, you know, a vanilla thing that you choose to do. Okay, we'll just go all out attack. But in any case, what I was saying is, yeah, there's so much that's just basically it's just an attack. And that's kind of frustrating to me, honestly. I mean, for the obvious reason that, like, it's less interesting, but there's some other things too, like, because there's very little monster diversity, you have to feel each monster feel unique, right? But every monster feel, at least, it's partially because they all have access to vanilla stuff, and so it makes sense that then what they would do is they would use that vanilla stuff, right? Like, but oh no, not that. I think that's all that. Like it makes sense. I'm not trying to harp on it too hard, but it just makes things feel so just autopilot-y. It makes things feel, you know, like what people always complain about when it's like, oh, you're just, you know, playing on curve, right? You're just playing whatever card you have that has the highest mana cost, and like you're autopiloting. I forgot that it has fucking defense. That's annoying. But yes, I think you see what I mean. Like, it's just there's so many more like interesting things that I think could be like done that's just not happening. Right, like Suizo. Suizo is a good example of like it has some interesting things because it has this whole like guts tech. Whether that guts is actually the decision to like fuck with your opponent's guts, whether that was like a good decision for them to include that, I'm not gonna even touch that because it is a very not fun mechanic. I am more than willing to state, but at the same time, like I don't know. It's just frustrating sometimes. The fact that it just none of these battles feel unique because of it, right? It's because all the battles feel the same, and that because you're just playing the same sort of cards. And this is actually, I think, one of the major weaknesses of having this refill draw system and the gut system, is that it means that a lot of the time your optimal play is to ditch everything, which means that you basically never plan ahead. Right? You never try to think of, oh fuck. But like you never try to think of like, alright, I want to do this like next turn, so I should like kind of strategize. The most you can say is, well, if I attack with this, like oh, I want to flame, but if I attack with Tail Lash, then I lose 2 guts, so I'm down to 2, and then I can, and guts 3, so it's fine. Like, that's not that interesting of a choice. I think there's also a slight lack of, I don't know what to call it, diversity? I'll say diversity for now. In that, you know, every monster is pretty much equivalently good against every other monster. Right? Like, it's not like Galley is especially good against fucking golems or whatever, or like... There's just none of that. And... I don't know, I find that very frustrating as well. There's that, there's the fact that there's very little, synergy. It's... Oh my god, what was that term that was used? It's basically this, idea that... I think Reynad talks about it in one of his videos. I mean, it just applies to card games in general. It's not like... I don't know, it might be a... What the fuck is that? What? Tell it what? Whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm never gonna use Galley once I get another monster. In any case, I totally got distracted. I was talking about... Right, that shit. So, this just means... God, I fucking hate my opponent. It just means that there's very little, like, synergy, right? Because as a card game player, I am very much motivated by trying to build up synergies, and, like, through those synergies, then I like to, like, you know, beat my opponent. Because I find it to be a very rewarding feeling to have a deck building challenge where these cards seem weak on surface and perhaps, like, on their own, yeah, sure, they're weak, but then to have them be pretty strong if they're played, like, together, right? Like, that's a good feeling. And, this game feels a lot like it has, like what I was saying, and then I got distracted, what Reynad calls, just... what Reynad calls linear card design, I think? I don't think that's exactly the right word for it, but I would... because I don't want to call it thoughtless, because that's just not right. But it's, like... it's essentially designing cards without without keeping in mind the overall strategy. You know, it's just like, oh yeah, this seems like a good card, right? 3 guts for 4 damage. Alright, let's make that card. You make the card, and then you move on. You never, like, think about, like, you never think about that sort of synergy or, like, how the cards can interact. And at least with what I've seen, it just feels like like, you never use your monsters together to combo. And because your monster can only attack once, you're never gonna have like combos internally, right? So basically, there's like no synergy. The most I've seen is like the internal synergy of the wolf or the succubus, who has those cards that if you can play them together or something and they get slightly stronger. Okay, alright. I keep getting so many golem cards. I swear to God, if I don't get golem, what is a Fatland at the end of this, I'm going to be very cross and I will probably just soft reset until I get him, since he's the only one I can use. Okay, Fatlands. Dungeon, full of wonder. All guardians in current level can be seen with it. Oh my god! Oh my god, that's so good! That's so good. Alright. In any case, is that a shovel? Shovel plus 4. Okay. That's kind of weird. Oh, I just have 4 extra charges on my shovel. I gotcha. Alright, what was I talking about? So, so I was talking about, like, synergy, how there's essentially very little of it in this game, which, for me, as I like to play card games and stuff, that just does not jive with me whatsoever, and it makes it very boring after a certain period of time when you aren't being presented like with new deck building challenges or you aren't trying out something new, right? Which is part of why I could never get into a lot of, like, I never got into Magic for a bunch of reasons I'm not going to get into, but one of them was just that I like deck building and deck building challenges, but I never had like enough cards or enough interesting cards to really do that. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was a little bit different. Alright. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was a little bit different because I inherited a lot of cards from my brother-in-law. And again, a lot of them were vanilla stuff, because if you're familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh! At all, you know what what is meant by the caveman era of Yu-Gi-Oh! And all that. So I'm not going to talk about it, but I think generally you understand what I mean when I say that, right? It's just everything is vanilla. I forgot that I had the speed up bound to a button on my Game Boy Color. I'll have to get that checked out at some point. In any case, so I was talking about about synergy and so it was actually very depressing. After I played this game, like I did my first session or two or whatever with this, got the 2 episodes out, I was just feeling really down on it, partially because I thought I was gonna get another monster, and then I didn't, and I looked up what it was, and it said 6th floor, and I'm just like, I'm never gonna get to the 6th floor. But here we are trying to do that. And what was I saying? Yeah, so we're trying to get to the 6th floor. And just because, like, there was so much, like, the ability to make different decks was gated so hard, it felt very discouraging for me. And I know this is how, like, this is how video games work, right? You play the card game, and if you win, you get booster packs and all that, but like I mentioned in the previous video, I think, like, the trickling out of resources for this is just so... It's not abysmal, but it's just... It is so slow. Right? Like, I don't know. Again, like, the pacing is all fucking screwed up, because... okay, how do I put this? Because, like... a lot of, again, like, I think this all goes back to the fact that there are 9 monsters, and none of them feel super, super, super unique, so that then everything just kind of, like, starts to fall by the wayside, because there's not that many monsters and there's not that many cards, so that means that if they want you to unlock all the cards in the same amount of time that it would take you for, like, a normal, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Game on the Game Boy or whatever, then suddenly that's like a rather massive undertaking, right? And where they're suddenly like they're only giving you like 2 or 3 cards, and they're giving you tons of fucking duplicates, even though there's literally nothing you can do with them. It makes sense in the booster pack because you're getting a lot of cards, and like you know like what set you're getting your cards from or whatever, so it doesn't feel that bad. But for this, it's just I don't know. It just feels very unrewarding to play other players, because it feels like I'm not like figuring out how to play this deck that much better after I've kind of tried to figure out the system in general. Right, and I'm not gonna say that I now know how to play freaking card battle or battle card or whatever optimally. I'm just saying that it doesn't feel as if I'm learning a whole lot. Partially because there's, like I mentioned, because of the guts in the refill system, there's that inherent weakness in that it doesn't allow for a whole lot of planning in the future, right? Like, there's no way you could ever build like a combo deck in this just in this rule set. That doesn't exist. Okay, I get more Golem cards. You notice, I think I'm actually gonna pull this out right now. For Golem, who I don't even have the hymn for. What? I have 4, 3, 4, so that's 11. 1 is 12. I have 12, 13. I have 13 duplicates. I don't have like about a third of the cards I have 0 of, but I have 13 duplicates. That's kind of ridiculous, right? In fact, like 13 duplicates is enough for me to have 3 of this, 3 of this, 3 of this, 3 of this, and also the extra one of that. So I could have a full Golem set right now, but instead I'm missing like half the cards. Right? And there are 12 skills. Oh my god, there are only... It's weird. It's absolutely weird. It's like, I mean, 12 isn't that unreasonable of a number. Yeah, fuck off. Again, it's not that unreasonable number for a tribal, like, it really depends on the game and like how you construct it. But it's just like, I guess that's the thing, there just aren't even tribals. It feels like you're basically, it's, if we consider it like Yu-Gi-Oh, you're basically saying that or like, here, you can do it like in Magic. It's like you have to, every single deck is a 3-color deck, and there are 9 colors, so it's a little bit different, but most of the colors have cards that do the exact same thing, right? That's really what gets me. It's that there's no like, there's like no class identity, which doesn't really make sense in this context. I would say it's a bit weird of a term to use, but there's no monster identity. Like, you look at Pokemon, right? You look at Pokemon, there's hundreds of Pokemon, but like, in the 151, like, I would say that every single Pokemon had some sort of identity. Holy shit, I got bodied there. That's not good. I guess we can lick our opponent. Try to kill him. In any case, like, everyone feels different, right? You have, like, first 3 starter Pokemon all feel like nice, basically just bulky-ish, good cards, right? And then you have cards like, I don't know, fucking whatever, or you have Pokemon like Muk feels different. Muk has this weird strategy where you have to be defensive and he's trying to poison people. Like, Chansey feels completely different because it's just like a high health guy. Whatever you call it. I need my guts. Like, you have Tauros feels different, like Starmie feels different. They feel different, even though there's a lot of overlap. Like, they all have different move sets and different things. And that's nice. The issue here is just that, like, the different move sets, it just doesn't really work because most of them are the same, and any ones that are different seem so useless. I think that's really the issue that I'm trying to get at here that I've been kind of dancing around a lot. It's that yes, the monsters have some slight differences, but like all of Galley's interesting things like Holy Ray and Tactics or whatever, like it and Reflect, it's all so bad that you're just better off. You're 1,000,000,000% of the time just better off playing vanilla, just 1 guts, 2 attack. Oh, I have to discard a card? That's stupid. I hate you. Alright, anyways. But I hope that kind of makes sense, what I'm trying to describe here. And like, look, that bunny just did a thing where I had to freaking, are you just gonna keep on taking blows? Is that what's gonna happen? Okay, whatever. But like, that's cool. It just shouted at me and I had to discard a card. It's not particularly flavorful, I would argue, because what the fuck does screaming have to do with discarding a card? Maybe it's like disturbing my focus or whatever. Seems kind of weird. I'm not gonna go into it a whole lot. God, I fucking forgot that he has that piece of shit. Yeah. Tongue. I miss. Does he still get the guts down? No, he doesn't. Okay, that's really bad. So he just like he just fucking like ultra 2-for-1 me there. Alright, that's fine. Alright, I'm actually gonna start speeding through these animations because I don't think that they add much anymore. Like, yeah, the animations are cool, but I don't know. I've seen them so much, and the fact that you have to fade into a battle screen and then watch the animation play in like a 2-second animation, whatever, and then you have to fade back out. That's a little weird. That's where it starts to get a bit annoying. Alright, let's do this. Yeah. So those are my thoughts. Again, kind of very poorly described over the course of like half an hour of footage while I also get distracted because I'm trying to play the game. This is absolutely perfect for, you know, this type of trying to analyze cards or something like that. Again, I will try to get some sort of video editing software so I can actually make this thing proper. Because I do think that it's interesting and that it, you know, it should probably be mentioned. Like, I think it's, like, worth... Fuck you. Okay. You're right. Okay, so this hair feels different. At least that's true. And his cards feel worth it. But at the same time, I don't know. It's just... It's not... It's different, again, in a way that I'm not entirely sure is super compelling. The same way that Suizo, I don't think is super compelling way to be different. Because there's very little counterplay, I would argue. I think is one of the issues there. Like, there's very little, like, the only counterplay you can have against Suizo is, like, guard, I guess? But that's the counterplay against literally everything, so it's not like it's particularly new or ingenious or whatever. Alright, let's just spit on this golem and then he will fall apart. Okay. I hope that makes sense, like what I'm describing there. That a lot of monsters feel very the same, like the dinosaur and the wolf feel very much the same. And then the monsters that feel different, either I might argue are contain, like, I'm not gonna say bad design, because I have definitely not made my opinion on whether I think it's compelling or not. Oh, I guess this is the shovel thing. I got another fatty lens. But like, from my experience, like, I think sure, oh god. Can't even... I could have turned around, but it would have taken probably longer than to just deal with this, and I forgot to turn off the animations. Oh boy, I'm going first for the first time in forever, since the only thing I've fought are fucking guardians. In fact, you know... Alright, we're just gonna... Do I ever hit him with the left claw? No, I'm not sure that I do. I think we just do this. We just take the 2 from Suizo or whatever and then just deal with it. But, yeah, it's... I don't know. I want to like this game because because despite there being a lot of bullshit in it, I would say overall I like the Pokemon trading card game on the Game Boy Color. Like, I would say there was exactly one card where they did the coin flip right, which was fucking coughing of all things. And the rest of the coin flips were absolute fucking garbage and I hated them. But again, like, it just feels like there are better ways. Like, it feels like there's a lot of basic potential here for an interesting card game with new monster designs and like this whole, oh yeah, no, like you're doing actions with them. But it's just like, there's no, like I said, there's just no synergy. Right? You're not playing cards together, you're playing, like, you're never playing cards, like, in parallel, if that makes sense. You're always just playing them in series, right? Like, the most I think about when I'm playing different cards is just, which one will get me, like, the most damage done for the lowest mana cost. I am never thinking, like, about what cards work best together. I'm never thinking, like, what's their combined impact, because there isn't, like... I think that maybe that's one of the issues, too, that I'm starting to see and figure out now. It's that this thing, right, this game, there is exactly one state that you can affect, right? There are exactly 2 things that you can affect. You can affect their guts or you can affect their health. And both of those are just fucking integers. They're just integer numbers. Right? The most that you can do to interact with your opponent is make one of 4 different numbers go up or down. And I think that Suizo's the only one who has guts interference, so for most people, like if I answered that personality quiz a little bit different and got a different starter deck, I would have exactly 3 points of interaction with my opponent, and they are all just fucking integers. And very little, like, counterplay either for or against. And I think that's not... Like, maybe that means that, in fact, this system doesn't have a lot of potential, and that it's fundamentally very shallow, but it is extremely frustrating. I would say that it just... I don't know. Like, it's just, this game feels like one of those games where, even if the player hasn't, they will feel like they figured it out after, like, after whatever, a few hours of playing. Just not what you want for a card game. You want a card game to always feel like you're constantly, like, learning and getting better and stuff like that. Alright, Basement 5. Oh god, red hair girls. I don't think I've seen one of those before. Hopefully they're nothing bad. What the hell? Ow, too hot. We just have lava, okay. I don't really want to talk to you, green person. You don't seem that interesting. Just trying to get to the bottom floor. Which I think is the 6th floor for this one. And then for the other ones it might be deeper, I don't remember. Okay, so there's a guardian here. A Wanda coin. Let's get out of the room. Okay, so we're out of the room, so the Guardian can't get me. What the hell is a Wanda coin? Event item. Wonder coin. Oh, they just ran out of characters. So they called it a Wanda coin. That's awesome. It turns into an item when it's thrown to a certain place. Okay, so I guess event items I don't use in the dungeons. Which is fine, I don't have to use this now. Okay. Yeah. So that's my problems. Especially, I think most of these issues are exacerbated with the fact that they're treating the... Are you Aya? Let's battle. How do you know my name? What the hell? That's really weird. Okay. The other thing too is that, like, you don't get a good look at the people that you're fighting ever. It's always just the overworld sprites. In Pokemon, they did it right. In Yu-Gi-Oh, they give you like little portraits. Even in fucking Card Battle, they gave you like little weird portraits that I disparaged a whole lot because I thought that a lot of them looked stupid. But in any case, you always just full and guts. Like, you know, this almost feels like like a fucking like auto chess game. With I don't know how to put this. Like, it just feels like auto chess, because like you feel like you're just kind of drawing a new card, which is like, you know, getting like a new set of like a new fucking whatever you call it, like a set of units that you can buy from a new round, and then you do stuff with your money, and then at the end, just because it's optimal, you wipe your fucking hand. It's the equivalent of getting the new set of units at the beginning, right? It feels like auto chess, except you can't reroll, but you can choose the attacks a little bit more fairly, which is weird on so many levels. I don't know how I feel about that at all. Oh god, we're gonna get headbutt. Oh man, here's another attack that does more damage, but he takes recoil. Because I guess that's just everyone's class identity, right? Like, that's just everyone's, like, ability. I mean, I guess, you know, like, they're all supposed to have, like, neutral attacks or whatever, but it's just, I don't know. I've talked about this a whole lot. I'm not gonna go into it much more, I think. But I think you guys get the point that I'm trying to make. I was making another point about how, and then I got really interrupted because of this mechanic, and then I forgot to discuss the mechanic in this game. It's basically Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, except also a card game, and also just not a Pokemon brand, but whatever. That's weird on so many levels, especially because, like, as a card game, most card games aren't built with the random encounter model. I mean, like, it's not completely random because you can, like, see the people or whatever, so it's like a modified random or whatever the hell you want to call it. It's still fundamentally the same. It's an encounter that you can't control. Why did I do that? What? That didn't kill him, that just wasted an extra 10 seconds of my life. Alright. But, oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. I've been getting a little bit sick lately, and I don't want to, you know, hack on the microphone, because that seems like a poor decision. But I hope that's kind of clear what I'm trying to describe. Or I got distracted again. I keep on getting distracted. I am so sorry. What I'm trying to describe is how... Fuck off. Alright. Is how this game uses random encounters, right? And so... Wait, I did talk about this. The random encounters in card games. It just... I feel like it's exacerbating the problem. With the problems inherent in this card game, in that it feels like you figure it out after, like, 30 games, maybe. Like, you figured out your current deck. You know how you want to play your cards. You know how all that shit works. And that's not good. Most especially... okay, so first off, we can just kill our opponent. That sounds like a good call. So we're gonna just kill... we're just gonna kill our opponent with the Wombo Combo. But that's not good, because it means that not only is your game perhaps a bit more shallow than you'd like it, but you're also making me play it mandatory. Like, it's not like I wanted to get into fights towards the end of the second episode, and now I don't want to do any fights. I kind of just want to get a new set of monsters, and then I'll suddenly feel more interested in, like, figuring out how it works. But, like, yeah, no, I think I am actually gonna go through with, like, making that full-on fucking review of card games in general. I might just stick it to this one, because, and, like, use other card games as reference points, I think would be a better way to structure it. Because it's just... I want to like this game, but I cannot. like that's my current issue. oh god, Superhead! Superhead! That's not a thing. Yeah, like, what I was saying is, I want to like this game, but I can't, really. I can't. For a few reasons that just keep on bothering me no matter what happens. Okay, he's dead. Alright, to make him suffer, actually, let's just fucking tongue him. Yeah, so it's... I don't know. I've been trying to explain these thoughts that probably could have been just done in like 15 minutes, and now we're at 40 because I keep on getting distracted and losing place, and then repeating myself because I lost my place. And then I start talking about like the meta, like, oh shit, I got distracted, and then that takes up more time, because I'm sure that it's super entertaining to listen to Henry say, oh shit, I got distracted, I'm sorry, what was I talking about, for like the 15th time. But, alright, let's go downstairs. Okay, music changed. I guess that's the exit. Just took a fucking... It's not even like a magical teleporter or a ladder or some stairs. It's just a fucking exit sign. That's hilarious. Who are you? Ready for battle? No? I guess so? Again, I did save, right? Because I think if I lose here, I get booted out, and if I get booted out, I am not going through this dungeon again. I'm sorry. That is just not happening. Alright, let's battle. Descendant! What on earth? What's the Descendant voice?
Welcome, this is the lowest floor of the France. Look, the disc. Let's battle. Hold nothing back.
Yeah, well, we have a nice dramatic music. Yeah, nice and dramatic. I am the last, as is, I suppose, appropriate. So, is our opponent... Okay, our opponent is actually properly spec'd. That's good. They have 2 wolves, too. Is that cheating or not? Like, are they allowed to do that? I do not know. I guess we'll do that. Alright, he's gonna poke me with his horn. That's not backward. That's not back roll worthy. Only if it was like a horn and something else as a combo. Also, is the music loop restarting every single time we get in and out of that combat? Because if so, that's also just... No, it's just like a... That's a big, just why moment. Alright, I'm gonna work on... do I kill the wolf or do I kill the fucking bunny? I think I kill the bunny because the bunny's stupid. He has much more dodge bullshit than the wolf, although the wolf does have some dodge bullshit. But it's like 0 cost dodge bullshit, which is way worse. Okay, and then we're gonna just fucking end guts everything. We're all good. Alright, he's headbutting me. Uh-oh. Punch. Yeah, it just... It feels a lot like the caveman era of Yu-Gi-Oh! Which was not an especially deep era of Yu-Gi-Oh! But also, like, you don't have any spells or traps. Right, you don't have, like, fucking painful... You really just had to do that, didn't you? Alright. Alright. Okay, we're gonna have to just do... We're gonna have to start some bullshit. Why is that wolf orange? I don't think I like the orange wolf, so I'm gonna just focus on the blue wolf. Or is that like... I guess it's more red. I'm red-green colorblind. I can't honestly... It looks kind of like a pink magenta-y. I genuinely have no idea. It could... no, that's definitely pink. Well, like, I could also see myself glancing at it for a second and thinking that it's a very pale, like, pastel-y green. In any case, Let's just bite this motherfucker. Alright. Yeah, no, it just... It feels like the caveman era. It feels almost like when I was playing Gwent. Like, there's just so little, like, interactivity between each other's boards. Between, like, I was about to say Pokemon, but you know what I mean. Between just each other's stuff, right? It just feels like you're not interacting. Whoa, what does Roar do? I wish I had, like, all of these interesting special cards instead of getting myself a fucking 20th copy of Scratch or whatever. Defense monsters can attack next turn. What? What on earth does that even mean? Oh. Oh, so I just can't do shit. Alright, well, I might as well... Okay, so we're gonna end our turn, and we're just gonna guts everything. I can keep the Blaze in case it's useful later. But it's otherwise, this is... Oh my god. This is happening, isn't it? Oh man, this is also a very compelling design. Where I'm just kind of waiting for shit to happen. Because I can't do shit myself. Alright, we're just gonna guts. There we go, that's enough for both of these big hitters to do something. So hopefully, something happens. In any case, I was talking about, yeah, so it feels like... How do I put this? It feels like there's... Yeah, it just feels like we're not... I'm not playing against another person. I'm not saying that just because, like, it's an AI or whatever. It just feels like I'm not just interacting with them. And this was a problem I had with Gwent. Not the... Like, in The Witcher 3, it was completely fine, because it was just a complete breath of fresh air after, like, you know, you played some of the combat. Combat was kind of fun, yeah. And then you'd use your combat and your loot to go and buy more Gwent cards, and then you play Gwent for, like, a couple rounds every now and then. And it was... And that was kind of fun, because... Although there was a lot of vanilla stuff there, like... each of the tribes felt so distinct that I thought it was actually, like, interesting. And there are other things about Gwent in The Witcher 3 that I think don't translate properly to Gwent as a standalone card game, but as a standalone card game, Gwent, it felt like after maybe, I don't know, 10 hours of playing or something, I just felt like I was basically, you know, you draw your top 10 cards of your deck or whatever, and then I just felt like I was just playing on my own. Like, I was just basically just trying to do my own combos and didn't really care what my opponent was doing, and then once a game feels like you're playing solitaire, it's not so good. In any case, nice battle! I lose, take the disc. I got a disc. My best battle in a long time. Thanks, I'll send you to the shrine. Ooh, that's a nice effect. Alright. Salan, welcome to the Sacred Card Shrine. Regenerate monster card from disc here. I see you have a disc. I'll make a monster card. No, wait, let me save first, you... Please let me save. Okay. Alright, I'm sorry, I have to skip that animation. I got Golem, it's all good. I apologize for that, for skipping that animation, but that was just so long in the title screen, and it's also long here. Powerful with great moves. Yeah, he's basically just good. Here, a new monster card. Look after it. Let's return this disc now. This is a really... Wait, so... Roker, man, I'm tired. May the great god... What? So... I go into the mystery dungeon. I fight the weird green-skinned descendant. Go to the fucking chapel. Talk to this priest. He's like, alright, let's turn this disc into a monster card. Here you go. Dude, there's some magic shit. And then he just hands the disc back to this weird hooded guy who then walks 7 feet outside of the shrine, somehow gets it back into the dungeon. And then we're done. That's brilliant, dude. This is brilliant storytelling right now. Hi there, cute nun. You're a card breeder, right? Let me tell you. Oh yeah, that's just the mural thing that I have to find. Alright. Okay, well... Okay, let's take a quick look at my items. Is there anything... So, the Wonder Coin. Oh, I bet I can toss it into the fountain! Oh my god, I'm a genius! Alright. Let's drop a save for a quick second, just because we got Golem. Oh, I can't toss it in there? What do you mean? The coin's in the... Yeah, throw in a holy coin. It's turned into an item. Mo Upper. It's a Mo Upper. Is it better than Upper S? For battle. Benefits 2 friends. So Upper benefits 1 friend. Upper S also benefits 1 friend, but adds 2 lives, and then the Mo Upper is like a multiple. Alright, and we have... What the fuck is milk stuff? Give it to your monster. Oh, am I supposed to, like... Am I supposed to give it to like, this guy? Mochi? Yeah, I can give Mochi some milk. Yeah! Oh, Mochi looks special with that grin. Tastes good? Did that do anything? Is this like how I get, like, Mochi or something? I don't know. That's weird. But I cleared out 1 ruin. That was weird. I guess I can take Galley out now, which is good. So I can just not have to deal with his shittiness. I mean, like, Blaze Wall's good and, like, Flame's good, but it's just... That's not good enough. Whereas Golem, he has lots of bullshit, like Clutch, right? That's 3 for 3, and he can attack. That's good. Brow Hit, 3 for 5. That's ahead of the curve. That's good. Kick, 4 for 7. That's good. 5 for 5, but also they can attack. I mean, if you hit them for 5, they're probably dead anyway, so I'm not going to use that. Chop, 5 for 8. W Chop, it's like Chop, but more W. It's just stupid. Recharge. Yeah, next skill's power, or next power skill will double for only once. That's pretty good. Theoretically. In defense, by 5. Like, it's not perfect, but it's also not 3 for not taking damage. So we're gonna just kind of... I don't think we want the throwaway, just because it's not gonna be that useful. We can add in some chops. We can add in... I don't know if the W chop is really necessary. We have exactly 1 copy of defense, 1 copy of protect. Alright, we can use that to actually kind of calm down on Tiger a little bit, because I'm not super... God, do I just not run anything? No, I think I want the jump. Jump is good. I guess just the question is, do I ever use stab? No. I guess for more expensive stuff, I have Golem to do it. Suizo, I think I'll also lower the curve a little bit. I'll just get rid of a side roll, because that's not that useful. And I'll nix 1 lick, just because, I don't know. Maybe I'll get rid of a tongue. No, because the tongue is good. Maybe get rid of a bite. Yeah. Because Golem is starting to fill that role now. How good is protect? Because I just get to take 1. I'll add 1 extra. I can also add a recharge. Just try that out. Yeah, okay. In that case, yeah, I need to get rid of 2 more, so I'll... I guess I'll... God, I don't want to nick stuff from Suizo, because Suizo's already pretty light. I guess I can get rid of a back roll. And... get rid of something from Suizo, I guess. Let's kill off a side roll. Just the dodges are not that useful. It's not a good thing to say. How many pixie cards do I have? I have exactly 1. Okay, so, is this an actual shotgun? No, it's just she's doing a laser as a shotgun, okay. Well, that's kind of cool. Pixie seems good. Downer seems just strong in general. What's Thwack? Thwack. Oh, he just kind of punches you, alright. Counter, yep. Guts the reflects half damage caused, okay. Yep, and then we have Hair, who's just... He's doing something. I don't know what's up with that Hair. Alright. Built that deck. I think I'm gonna spend the last bit of the episode. We're not gonna go into another dungeon, but I think I will just talk a little bit about what I was talking about before, about the dungeons and like the structure of the game as a whole. So, the game is, like the card game is possibly not as deep as it needs to be. That in general you find yourself thinking that you know how to play the game like optimally a little bit faster, or at least you know how to pilot your deck optimally. And like because of the frequency of the random encounters because of guardians and other unseen bullshit, this means that you can kind of burn out really easily. And usually I totally get like burnout. It happens to me a lot when I play the Yu-Gi-Oh video games, but then what happens is I build a different deck, or I just switch over to a different deck, a completely different playstyle. And at least in this early stage, that's not really possible. As I remember before I recorded this episode, I thought, hey, I'm gonna try and edit my team a little bit. You know, Tiger, Galley, Suizo. See if I got any new cards that might be kind of interesting to use. But that was just not the case. I could not edit these guys so that they felt different in any way. So essentially what happens, like all I did was take out some of Galley's less efficient cards to try to make them less shitty. Then what happens is every single monster feels like they have exactly like one mode, so to speak. And then it's just, so you're basically screwed until you get a new monster. Like now, like I'm invigorated. I might record some later this week. Make another double bill to make up for the loss of my GameCube. Because like I have a new card, I want to try Golem out. I want to see how he feels, and I want to feel like I'm using a giant stone golem. Right? I think that'll be fun. But at the same time, I have a feeling that I should try to avoid as many encounters as possible in the dungeon, just so that I don't burn myself out on this new guy before I'm able to pick up, like, fucking Pixie. But even then, what happens is, I'll get Pixie, and I have exactly one card that she can use. So, it's like, not only do you have to wait super long to unlock the heroes, so to speak, to, like, unlock every single class or tribal, but you also have to pray to God that through RNG, you unlock enough of the cards that you can even build a semi-decent deck. Hopefully you get enough that you can actually like experiment with slightly different builds of each one. But you can't, because you get 3 cards every combat, and every combat lasts like at least like 5 minutes, which is way too long for a random encounter, right? Random encounters, like in Mystery Dungeon, you think of a random encounter there, it lasts 20 seconds absolute tops, right? Most of the time it's just you use 2 or maybe 3 attacks, and at least one of those will just be a neutral hit, so you don't even have to menu for that. You're done in 15 seconds. Sure, the boss monsters might take like a minute, I don't know. Same thing, like you think like in Pokemon, right? Most encounters, you can run away. Takes you 3 seconds then. Just get in the combat, menu to run away, click run away, get out of combat. Or even if you want to do it, combat is like, maybe, I don't know, 30 seconds. But like, because there's that sort of, what do you call it? Like survival aspect is the wrong word, but like, you know, the wild Pokemon, if you battle all of them, they will eventually wear your guy down. It makes every battle feel slightly different because you're thinking about PP management different, you're thinking about like health different, stuff like that. Whereas this, because it's a card game and you start every game at full health, it makes everything feel the same. And I'm not saying that all card games should start you out at different health, or that just having your damage be cumulative would fix the game, because I think honestly it would probably make it fucking worse. It just means that they had to, I think, make a bigger effort to make the different battles feel different. And like, I think especially because they dumped all 9 of the monsters in that one dungeon, that means that, like, we've seen all the game has to offer, right? Like, we've gotten at least one card for, like, every monster except this one, who's probably, like, a secret bullshit monster, so I'm not even gonna worry about it. So, like, it feels almost as if, like, we've seen, like, the game has, like, blown its load, right? It's shown us everything, and that does not, I don't know, that doesn't make me super excited. I am excited to use Golem in the next episode and all that, but I don't know, there are a lot of problems with this game. I'll probably have to reiterate all of this again when I make that video reviewing this, but that's my thought. That's my thought on this. At least I have, whatever, 38 shovels, and I have 153 cards. But there's so many duplicates, and you can't do shit with duplicates. It's very frustrating. In any case. Alright, we saved the game. We're all set. I made my rant about this game sort of like how the card game design interacts with the design of the game as a whole. In any case, alright, I'm gonna stop recording now because it's been an hour, my horse is tired, and I have work to do, and people are also starting to be noisy in the hallway, so... Alright, bye-bye.